Hi, this is Barbie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making card number 1 for the June Stamp of the Month kit. I send one of these kits out to every customer who purchases the Stamp of the Month from my website. So you can get the Stamp of the Month one of three ways. You can purchase it outright for $19.95, or with a $50 qualifying order, you get it for only $5. If you're one of my VIPs, with your qualifying order, you will get it for absolutely free. So we're going to make a sunset here. We're going to use our blending brush, and I'm going to start with the honey butter ink. Now you want to have a piece of scratch paper so that after you've picked up the ink on your blending brush, you can tap off so that you don't get that harsh mark from fresh ink. Now I'm going to work across the bottom, going up about an inch. You can do this as many times as you desire to get the intensity that you want. So I'm going to go over it just a few times. You'll see some areas look darker and some look lighter. That is fine. Don't worry about it. Next, I'm going to go to the Sundance ink. And because these two are close in color, I'm going to go ahead and use the same blending brush. But I want to be a little more careful since this is darker to tap that brush off beforehand. Now I've continued up the page, but I did overlap that honey butter a little bit. Next, we're going to bring in Nectarine and continue up the page, this time overlapping the Sundance slightly. And again, because this color is darker, be sure to tap it off before using it directly to your paper. Now, if you don't have these particular colors, please feel free to substitute ones you do have. The next one I'm going to use is going to be the papaya. And you can see I forgot to tap it off. And what happened? I ended up with a dark blot there on the right-hand side. But no worries, it will blend out okay. This may appear blotchy as you're working it, but as it dries, it really blends rather nicely. Now, scarlet is going to be my next color, and because it is so dark, I'm going to work from the top down with it. I'm going to go over the top edge a few times, then blend it down towards the papaya. Now, again, like I said, if you don't have these colors, substitute in colors you do have. In God's creation, every sunset is different and unique. So even if you use the same colors time and again, your sunsets will be different each time slightly. But go ahead and experiment with other colors and see what you like. Try it on some scratch paper. Sometimes I will go side to side as well to blend out, but the majority of the time I do work in a circular motion. So now I'm going to work backwards through the color. So I'm going to go back to the papaya and use it next, and I'm going to go over the area that has the papaya as well as overlapping the Sundance and the Nectarine. I'll start off in a side-to-side motion, and then I'll go ahead and go back to that circular motion. So now, working backwards, we're back to the Nectarine. Now with the Nectarine, I'm going to go over the Nectarine area, but I'm also going to continue going up to the top so that I go over the scarlet and the papaya with it. Since the Nectarine is lighter in color, it will help blend those two out and give me a different intensity that I would not have had I not done this. Now, next in line would be normally the Sundance. But as you'll see in a moment, I am going to go ahead and skip the Sundance and go straight to the honey butter. Now remember, you can do as much of any of these colors as you want to get the desired intensity that you desire. So we're back to the honey butter, and I'm going to use it over the entire page, not just the bottom where I had the honey butter, because that way, like the Nectarine, it will help blend out the other colors and just gives it a different look than it would had I not. It brings in a little bit more of those yellowy colors that I like when we see a sunset. So I'm just going to go over it a little bit more until I get that intensity I desire. Next up will be our stamping. So I'm going to go ahead and move some things out of the way and bring in my stamping platform. Now you can see that I've already inked up the stamp and stamped it on my scratch paper there. This is so that I know exactly where to position my paper so that the black will go down all the way to the bottom of my page. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my paper in place with some washi tape so that it will not move, because I'm going to be inking that stamp up a couple times and stamping over it to get it nice and dark. I want that stamp set to give a nice crisp black outline. I also have that little handy dandy tool that I put on my ink pad so that I'm not holding the edges of my ink pad and then getting ink where I don't want it on my paper. I'm using a candle holder that I've put a piece of felt on to give me some nice even pressure. Now you can see that it didn't do it really dark, which is why I mentioned I was going to stamp this a few times. Each time I will go over it with that little candle holder, and I can do this multiple times because my washi tape is holding my paper in place. So I want to do it one more time just to get that nice crispness. And then we'll be ready to continue on with the card. So now I can go ahead and pull this off of my stamping platform and move it out of the way. Isn't that beautiful with that sunset? I'm going to take the thanks stamp that came with the set and ink it up with the black ink. And then to make it easier to be sure I have it where I want it in that top corner, I'm going to turn my paper around. Also, be very careful in case your black ink is still slightly wet from doing several inkings, or depending on what kind of ink you used, it may be a little wet. I'm going to move my all-purpose mat out of the way in case it has some ink on it and bring in the cardstock that I will be mounting this to. I'm going to go ahead and use some Scotch tape to help position my ribbon in place. That way it won't move when I'm working with tying the knot. So I just need to position it so that it is below that greeting. And I want to make sure that I have enough of the ribbon on the left-hand side. Usually, depending on how you tie your knot, one side will use more than the other. Now, to get a nice knot with your ribbons going side to side, not going all cattywampus, you want to work with the right side over the left, up and under, and then go to the left side over the right and up and under. I should have left my ribbon just a little bit longer. It's a little difficult here working with it because I didn't quite leave it long enough, but I will eventually get that knot tied. And you will see that it will be nice and straight, not going up and down. Isn't that beautiful? So now I can just trim the ends of my bow and we're ready to continue putting our card together. So we're going to go ahead and put some more adhesive on the back of that and put it on our cardstock. Sorry about my head getting in the way there. So I like to leave an 1/8 inch border around my things. So I cut my paper for the white 1/4 inch smaller each direction. And I really like the way this Botanical Shadows gave a nice black silhouette against my sunset. So now I can go ahead and put some adhesive on the back side of that dark cardstock, which I believe is Outdoor Denim, an old retired color, and adhere it to my card. You could also cut each of these papers 1/4 inch smaller than I did if you want a white edge around that dark blue paper. I also go ahead and put a hallmark on the back of my cards. This one says created by Barbie Kelly. I think this card turned out really cute. If you'd like some ideas on ways to keep up with what I'm doing, here they are. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel and have a great day.